to Just Miss Nelson. Really, Elster. Welcome back to Just Miss Nelson podcast. Let's talk. So, anyways, we're gonna be reacting to the Gypsy Rose that Swoop did the Gypsy Rose thing on YouTube, and this my sister.
Hey y'all.
Elster. Cassie, Elster, whatever you want to call that thing. But anyways.
Thing. You the thing.
Anyways, yada. But yeah, we're gonna react to the Gypsy Rose thing. But baby, we got a lot to get in. We're gonna stop it at 24 minutes, y'all. So we're gonna go through the whole 1 hour thing. We're gonna come back for the rest of it, girl. Yeah, if I'm watching tonight. Anyway, we ain't gonna cut. I ain't gonna watch it tonight. But anyways.
You better not.
Anyways, we're gonna wait till Elsa come by, and then we're gonna do the part, whatever. You gotta watch the Myra.
No.
Oh, anyway, we can do the rest of the Myras. But anyway, it's so ghetto. But anyways, let's get into it. Okay. Why the sad song though?
All the country songs.
Oh, that's the bad thing. Look.
That was kind of creepy.
It is creepy now.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard made worldwide headlines when she was convicted. Sorry, I liked you.
Two people charged her daughter Gypsy and her boyfriend Nicholas Godejohn.
Gypsy manipulated Nick, a low-functioning person. It was an angel and a devil. Gypsy Rose Blanchard was released from a Missouri prison early this morning.
I'm doing great. It feels really, really nice to be out in the free world.
Whose idea was it?
Mine.
Who
I
initially
thought they should let the boy out instead of her.
did Gypsy
He
know?
killed them, so
I did.
he got to stay up for life. She didn't do nothing. She just manipulated.
People call her the master manipulator. It wasn't that. It was the other way around in that relationship with her ex. It was
You
the
just
other way
said it's her
around.
brother, right?
She was manipulated.
That's why he's in trouble with the
He got the same last name like she do though.
She taught me how to be a good liar. A very good liar without any conscience.
Picture this. It's June 2015 in Springfield, Missouri. The warm evening air settles heavily over the neighborhood along Volunteer Way. You're standing on the lawn outside of your neighbor's small, pale pink home waiting, hoping that this is all just some kind of joke after seeing some disturbing posts on their Facebook page. More and more neighbors start to gather outside the house, murmuring to each other that they have called the police for a wellness check, but there's no help in sight, and the air is growing thicker with worry. Who made these Facebook posts? Why isn't anyone answering the door? You try ringing the doorbell over and over, and the dim lights in the house just stare back at you as if they were mocking you. Someone must be home, you think to yourself, as you look over at your neighbor's car parked neatly in its usual spot in the driveway. Eventually, the sheriff's department arrives, and a collective sigh of relief is heard as you say to yourself, finally, we'll find out what's going on. Your heart is pounding in your chest, and you feel your stomach drop as you hear someone say, but her daughter is sick and needs a wheelchair. What if she's on the ground and can't get up? Another neighbor decides to climb through the window as an officer agreeingly looks the other way, and as the man makes his way through the house, you can hear him shouting names over and over until the sound of your pounding heartbeat starts to drown his calls out. Now he quickly makes his way back outside the front door and says it doesn't look like anyone's home. The house is quiet, but all of her wheelchairs are still in the living room. You exhale deeply, not realizing
How
that
many
you've
she
been
had?
holding your
I don't know. There's like a lot of
begins
wheelchairs.
to rise. Maybe this was just a joke after all. But as the hours creep into the night and emergency vehicles and police cars are piling up outside, you can't shake the terrible feeling. And as the yellow crime scene tape is slowly wrapped around that tiny pale pink house, you know that something sinister has taken place.
I see a stretcher come out of the house, and there's a sheet over a body, and I just start sobbing. I thought that was Dee Dee.
It was only a matter of time before the rest of the world knew the tragedy that occurred in that house on Volunteer Way. Dee Dee Blanchard, the once-believed magnificent mom, the saintly woman who spent 19 years caring for her severely ill daughter, was found lying face down, her life cut short. And it wasn't until police found Gypsy Rose with her boyfriend able to walk without a wheelchair that once quiet, quaint little neighborhood was about to be at the center of every news show around the world. And after 10 years, it was about to get even more twisted than anyone ever thought possible.
Breaking news this morning, 48-year-old Dee Dee Blanchard is found dead inside her home. Her 19-year-old daughter Gypsy is still considered missing.
And this is what we know.
Shopify has everything you need to grow your retail business, like
Damn,
fast and secure
Shopify.
checkout, reliable card readers.
This might be one of the most complex stories I have ever covered here. The name Gypsy Rose Blanchard is a household name where, in the minds of some, she's purely a survivor, and to others, she's a manipulative liar who did the unthinkable and has now walked away. And then there are those of us who think, well, maybe it's not so black and white. Gypsy Rose's name has become synonymous with the term Munchausen syndrome by proxy, which is, in its most basic definition, a psychiatric disorder in which a parent or other caregiver seeks attention from medical professionals by causing or fabricating signs or symptoms of illness in a child. Gypsy Rose was the proxy, or victim in this case, and was subjected to decades of harm at the hands of her own mother, Dee Dee. There's so much renewed interest in Gypsy Rose's life, especially now due to her release from prison and her new ebook and documentary series, but potentially getting lost in the mix of all of Gypsy Rose's newfound stardom is the other complex side of this story. Her one-time boyfriend and literal partner in crime, Nick. Conversations around Nicholas Godejohn, a man diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder who also believes to have dissociative identity disorder, has sparked outrage as to how his case was handled, both from sympathizers to detractors. And what about this police supplemental report I never hear discussed, detailing a 15-minute cell phone video Gypsy Rose took of herself and sent to Nick, where she tells him how she is, quote, very good at planning things, how she liked to cause mischief and mayhem, and then if she ever saw a girl who wanted to become Nick's girlfriend, her evil side would unalive them with pleasure, proposing they could do it together. Yeah, we're gonna dive into it all, and also hear from some mental health professionals as well as individuals living with these diagnoses to try to get insight not only into Gypsy Rose Blanchard, but also into the mind of Nick Godejohn for a fresh perspective. Now, we all probably know that Gypsy Rose was released from prison after serving about 8 years on December 28th, 2023. In many ways, this is the first taste of freedom Gypsy Rose has ever experienced in her life, and now, as a free woman living with her new husband, we're learning a whole lot more about her life with her mother and how today she says she doesn't identify as a murderer because she didn't, quote, do the kill.
I don't associate myself as a murderer because if you think about it, yes, I had a part to play in it. I asked, he's the one that did it. So when they say I'm a murderer, I don't identify as that.
We'll get into that. But again, what about Nick, the man who did do the kill? What about Gypsy Rose's relationship with her new husband? And what about Gypsy Rose's instant celebrity and the public calling her a role model? We're most definitely going to get into that.
He did it, but she planned it and she knew she had a
She
plan.
manipulated
If you're
him
seeing me
to
for
do
the
it.
first time, my name is Swoop. Welcome. I'm a filmmaker and I make documentaries and short films on unsolved cases, true crime, and social media influencers who abuse their power and manipulate audiences because, as I always say, it's not drama, it's dangerous. We also dig deeper into the root psychology, and sometimes we take it to Petty University because, okay, Petty is my coping mechanism, and, you know,
Happy
someone's
Valentine's,
gotta do it.
y'all.
If you want to join our community, all are welcome, and you can also grab your exclusive
Happy
Valid Ribcage
Valentine's.
apparel and the Valid Social Club apparel from the Petty University
Ooh, I want
shop.
one.
Linked below, as always, one of my all-time favorite collections that we've ever put out. So real quick, and then we're going to dive into the story. A huge thank you to today's sponsor and
She
to
like that
all
blue
of
house.
you, and then we will dive right in. I want to talk about something that pisses me off about Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, and like all of these streaming services. And I'm going to tell you how to make it all better with today's sponsor, ExpressVPN. Did you know that Amazon, HBO Max, Hulu, and other streaming services are hiding thousands of shows and movies from you based on where you live? They literally limit your access to shows just because of the country you live in, even though they keep charging more and more and more. The audacity. Like, imagine getting up in the morning, going to your favorite coffee shop, savoring the thought of that delicious latte you're about to get, and them telling you you can only order decaf tea. That's basically what Netflix and other streaming services are doing to you, blocking you from thousands of shows just because of where you live, and it is time to clap back using ExpressVPN and unlock their entire content library all in one tap. Basically, when you do anything online, all your activity is tracked through your IP address, which is attached to the country you're in. But when I turn on ExpressVPN, I can take my IP address and switch it to another country that I choose, allowing me to control which country I want Netflix to think I'm in, so that I can instantly unlock tons more movies and shows. Now, I've been using ExpressVPN for 3 years now. It's on all of my devices. Like, US Netflix took away one of my favorite guilty pleasure shows, Vintage Gossip Girl in the United States. Not on my watch. So all I do is open ExpressVPN and switch my country to the UK, and boom, all seasons are ready to go, honey. And also, can we talk about them taking Mean Girls off of Netflix? Because, honey, that is not okay. But as soon as I switch my VPN to South Korea, I can watch Mean Girls any time of the day, and that is okay with me. ExpressVPN works in seconds. You can use it on your phone, laptop, tablet, even smart TV, so you can watch on the big screen with zero buffering. So join me and stop paying full price for streaming services and only getting access to a fraction of their content. Go to expressvpn.com/swoop and find out how you can get 3 months of ExpressVPN free and treat yourself to tons of new movies and shows. You deserve it, honey. Okay, back to the doc. Alright, just a heads up, as usual with a heavy topic, I will not be going into graphic details or discussions, and things will be censored to keep this as digestible as possible for all of you watching, while adhering to the platform's policies. And a couple of super quick notes. While in production, I received an email from a longtime viewer who had a request regarding what they refer to as the G slur, and I'll share a bit of that. I'm writing on behalf of myself as a Roma woman and 13 of my Roma peers. Me and my peers are writing in hopes that you can bring attention to the fact that the word G is a horrific slur for many people, and the current development with Gypsy Rose is already leading to a normalization of using the slur. We're not trying to cancel, we only want people to take the G slur seriously. Now, obviously, Gypsy Rose's name is not a slur, it's her name.
Oh, that's her name.
Stories like this, that people don't use it as an excuse to intentionally throw around actual slurs to harm others. Like, I know y'all out there watching that y'all are doing that, y'all are always incredible. I just wanted to share someone from our community so that we can continue to keep things as inclusive as possible. And one more quick thing, there's a lot with this one. I will also be discussing autism spectrum disorder, and I know that there can be some sensitivities with how it is discussed. After consulting with mental health professionals, I wanted to share some guidance given on how to respectfully discuss autistic individuals. The autistic community prefer identity-first language, i.e. autistic person is preferable to person with autism. This is because we would say person with cancer, for example, but for most autistic folk, our autism is a core part of our identity. Avoid functioning labels such as high or low functioning. This is rooted in how demanding we are perceived to be rather than our actual needs or functioning. And terms like on the spectrum are generally frowned upon by the autistic community and should be avoided. Okay, now that I've hopefully paved that road, let's dive in.
I'm Nicole C, and I love Chumba because...
Okay, now that I've hopefully paved that road, let's dive in. Claudine Dee Dee Blanchard was living in Golden Meadows, Louisiana when she had her first child alone. Her new husband, Rod Blanchard, had recently left her on his 18th birthday while she was still pregnant. On July 27th, 1991, Gypsy Rose Blanchard, a healthy baby girl, was welcomed into the world, but at only 3 months old, Gypsy Rose began displaying signs of sleep apnea, so Dee Dee had her hooked up to monitors and tested. I mean, that would be some serious shit, right? And on top of her sleep apnea,
She did
Gypsy
too
Rose
much,
also
y'all.
had severe amblyopia, which is the medical term for what many people call a lazy eye, a phrase that I've learned is considered very outdated, that threatened to make both of her eyes go blind over time if she didn't get corrective surgery. Now, this surgery might be where it all started, and what do I mean by it? Well, I'm referring to Dee Dee's suspected mental disorder, Munchausen syndrome by proxy. With all of the attention from friends, family, and doctors regarding Gypsy Rose's medical conditions, Dee Dee was essentially getting fueled by it. She was kind of craving it, kind of getting off by it, along the way, Dee Dee had Gypsy Rose diagnosed with an unspecified chromosomal disorder, epilepsy, muscular dystrophy, leukemia, hearing and vision impairment, and that she was paralyzed, where Dee Dee forced Gypsy Rose to use a wheelchair all the time. Gypsy Rose was about 8 years old when this is happening. And when Dee Dee wanted more control, she had a feeding tube put in because, well, Dee Dee said so, and I guess that was good enough for doctors. I don't really get how they fumbled the bag there, but it happens all the time in this story. Now, according to Christy Blanchard, Gypsy Rose's stepmother, when Gypsy Rose was old enough, Dee Dee enrolled her into school, but she only made it a few months before pulling her out. Christy said, quote, Dee Dee had told me that the reason why she had pulled her out was because she was scared they wouldn't give her medication right. So Dee Dee intended to homeschool her daughter. However, according to Gypsy Rose was supposed to teach herself how to read.
How much school do you have?
Unfortunately, I was homeschooled, but my education is kind of scattered, so I have the basic of a third grader.
Okay. Do you know how to read and write okay and everything? Okay.
And honestly, y'all, this sounds like coercive control 101, and this is a theme that we're going to see spread throughout this story. So real quick, let me give a simple definition of this, because y'all know in a Swoop doc, we don't just cover the story, we also talk about some of the warning signs of manipulative or abusive tactics, in case any of you watching are in an unhealthy environment to better understand and protect yourself. So coercive control is an act or a pattern of acts of assaults, threats, humiliation, and intimidation, or other abuse that is used to harm, punish, or frighten their victim. This controlling behavior is designed to make a person dependent by isolating them from support, exploiting them, depriving them of independence, and regulating their everyday behavior. So as we move along, I'll pinpoint different warning signs of coercive control throughout this doc, but let's start with warning sign number 1, isolating you from your support system. A controlling partner will try to cut you off from friends and family or limit contact with them so you don't receive the support that you need. Here are a few ways to do this: suggesting shared phone and social media accounts for convenience, moving you far away from your family so that it's hard to visit them, fabricating lies about you to others, monitoring all your phone calls with your family, and cutting the line off if anyone tries to intervene. Now, I'm pretty sure, if you're familiar with this story, Dee Dee just kind of checks off every single one of those boxes. Bitch never met a box she didn't want to check off. Now, how about warning sign number 2, denying your freedom and autonomy? Someone exerting coercive control might try to control your freedom of movement and independence. Some methods include not allowing you to go to work or school, restricting your access to transportation,
I don't want
to
to say that she deserved to get these. They get on the line. They were supposed to say on the line. But it seemed like she pushed it.
Feeding tube and the ability for Gypsy Rose to speak to doctors and restricting her ability to even walk and putting her in a wheelchair, Dee Dee was able to create an environment of extreme isolation. It is a tried and true tactic, and if anyone in your life is trying to isolate you from your education or support system, please know that you have options and there are people and resources ready to help. And you can start by going anonymously to thehotline.org to learn more there and find the help that you need. So with all this going on, Dee Dee's family, the Petrus, found it odd that Gypsy Rose seemed like a normal child when Dee Dee wasn't around. One time when they were hosting a birthday party, for example, Gypsy Rose, who was sitting in her wheelchair watching the kids jump on the trampoline, asked if she could join them, and the Petrus told her that she could, and Gypsy Rose began using her legs and jumping around. But once Dee Dee pulled into the driveway, Gypsy Rose kind of locked up and stopped using her legs again.
Everybody, this is Gypsy Rose reporting from Aurora, Missouri. I'm about to dive off our porch into the pile of snow. You ready?
Weird. I don't want to point fingers, but this is weird, right? Like it's don't point. Like, I don't know, like maybe somehow it was different in person. I wasn't there. None of us were there to see the family interactions. But when you're told that a kid can't walk, but the kid is jumping on a trampoline when the mom is gone and then suddenly can't walk the moment the mom shows up, like, I'm just kind of like, how did no adult in the room say anything, or did they say anything? But like, it's wild to me. Okay, anyway.
I know there gotta be other adults around that scene that live. Did they go
say
together and
anything,
talk
or did they say
about
anything?
it?
But yeah, it's wild to me. Okay.
It seems like she got a lot of influence.
So, as the story goes, Dee Dee and Gypsy Rose moved
They ain't gonna
in with
listen to
Claude
other people,
Peters,
I reckon.
and his new wife Laura. So Claude is Dee Dee's father. Laura is her stepmother, which makes them Gypsy Rose's grandparents. So to cut to it, Gypsy Rose was allegedly inappropriately handled by her grandfather, Claude, while they were living there. And when she tried to bring it up to her mother, Gypsy Rose says that Dee Dee began crying. So as the story goes, Dee Dee and Gypsy Rose moved in with Claude Peters and his new wife, Laura. So Claude is Dee Dee's father. Laura is her stepmother, which makes them Gypsy Rose's grandparents. So to cut to it, Gypsy Rose was allegedly inappropriately handled by her grandfather, Claude, while they were living there. And when she tried to bring it up to her mother, Gypsy Rose says that Dee Dee began crying, while also suggesting that she too had been inappropriately handled, which naturally caused Gypsy Rose to stay quiet out of fear of hurting her mother. Gypsy Rose was around 4 at this time. Now, was this just a manipulative tactic from Dee Dee to garner sympathy from her daughter, or was Dee Dee really harmed by her own father? We'll never know. But to make this even worse, Gypsy Rose's grandfather, Claude, fucking real winner over here, he didn't deny that this ever happened. Oh no! Instead, he blames Gypsy Rose, saying she, a 4-year-old at the time, was the one trying to touch him. Bitch. Listen. I need to simmer down, but I'm telling you, I don't like jumping to accusations. But if ever there were a shitty way to deny claims that you were doing some nefarious shit and making people not believe you, blaming a whole grain, gluten-free tiny child for sexual contact would be a good way to make me not believe you. It's literally impossible for someone that young to even know what the hell that would even mean, let alone going out of their way to do it to an adult. Claude is a whole ass shady McBag for that and possibly belongs in jail, allegedly. This is purely speculation, but it wouldn't surprise me if Dee Dee went through the same or similar issues as a child and knew that Claude was capable of doing this to her daughter, but perhaps was in denial. Dee Dee had a stepmother. She had a mother named Emma. At some point along the way, Dee Dee became her mother, Emma's caregiver. Yeah, and it has been alleged that Dee Dee, wait for it, starved her own mother to death while she was in her care. What paradoxical universe is this? And if that wasn't enough, well, Dee Dee is also suspected of trying to take the life of her stepmother. What? Yeah. When Dee Dee and Gypsy Rose moved in with Claude and stepmom Laura suddenly became gravely ill. She literally almost died and spent 9 months in bed from what they think was Dee Dee slowly poisoning her with Roundup weed killer by
Of course, Gypsy Rose will get influence
This is
from
so
that.
darkly disturbing, but if any of this is true, it's both sick and just like sad to me, you know? Like obviously there's zero excuse here for what Dee Dee was doing to Gypsy Rose and what she allegedly did to her mothers, but in the same breath, if Dee Dee was a potential CSA survivor, it's still sad, and there's a pattern here, a cycle. Now, Dee Dee's mother, Emma, passed a year before Claude got married to Laura, and Laura sadly passed in 2018. Many believe from complications from being poisoned, as she was never the same afterwards. And of course, well, we all know how the cycle ended for Dee Dee. Now, right after After the revelations about Laura and Emma, many of the Petrists began placing the blame on Dee Dee and also accused her of not taking proper care of Gypsy Rose. Many people in the family noticed that Gypsy Rose didn't need the feeding tube and that she could obviously walk. I mean, seriously, like, Dee Dee's sister even reached out to Rod Blanchard to tell him that Gypsy Rose could walk. And still, after all of this and all of the doctors, nothing was done about it. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a million things that Rod could have done differently here, but to be fair, I should point out that Rod is a shipmaster and works on a boat months out of the year and wasn't always around. And based off of the signs of coercive control that I mentioned, we also know that Dee Dee was intentionally isolating Gypsy Rose from her family, was also poisoning Gypsy Rose's perception of her father, to the point when Gypsy Rose was younger, she mentions being quite terrified of him at different points. And Rod blames their constant moving around and Dee Dee's controlling nature for not being able to see Gypsy Rose as much as he wanted to, which, look, do I think he could have done more? Yes. Yes, I do. But Gypsy Rose doesn't blame him, so I'm just going to leave that there.
LegalZoom makes it simple to start an LLC in 3 easy steps. Your business
Rose doesn't blame him, so I'm just going to leave that there.
Are we almost to the...
So, Dee Dee and Gypsy Rose are living in Slidell, Louisiana. Dee Dee is telling people Gypsy Rose has leukemia, and doctors, for reasons I can't find, had Gypsy Rose undergo rounds of chemo and surgeries, helping Dee Dee keep her daughter as sick as possible.
I was taking medication. She said this cancer medicine. She would shake my head and say, well, it's going to fall out anyway, so let's just keep it nice and neat.
Now, at this time in 2005, Hurricane Katrina hit, destroying their apartment, including all of Gypsy Rose's medical records and her birth certificate. So, weather devastation created another devastation that Dee Dee could now weaponize to isolate Gypsy Rose. And by September of 2005, she and Gypsy Rose were airlifted to Aurora, Missouri, where they rented an apartment for a few years.
It's Mayberry. We're moving to Mayberry.
It didn't take a lot to convince Dee Dee and her daughter Gypsy Rose to make a new home in Aurora. They already knew it was meant to be.
It is the perfect town. The perfect place.
While there, the locals quickly learned of Dee Dee and Gypsy Rose through their harrowing story of survival, and of course, many of them celebrated Dee Dee's perseverance and how Dee Dee would do anything for her daughter. Also anything to her daughter, and Dee Dee played that it all the way up with press interviews, community outreach, just all of it.
It took something like a hurricane to make us have a happy ending.
Dee Dee was happy enough just having medical care for Gypsy. She says she never expected this.
It's amazing. It's amazing, the outpouring of love and support. And it's happy. And it's full of love.
Man, this is just so crappy. Dee Dee knew how to flex for clout. Okay, before the Logan Paul, she'd be out there flexing for all this. She was a master manipulator at this point. So they were given medical trips to Mercy Children's Hospital.
Oh my God. Elsa, what you think about that?
Me? I think that the mama, like, really influenced everything. And I feel like she had it coming because, like, the way she manipulated her to thinking she was, like, sick and whatever. And then she, Gypsy Rose picked up that manipulation from her mama. So then she manipulated that boy into doing all that stuff.
And then she did say that she learned from her mama how to lie.
So really her mama taught her everything, and then when she wound up manipulating the boy, he killed the mama. They both went to jail. Now she out. And now...
You gotta say yeah. But anyway.
Now she out. What if she still lying? Like, what if she actually killed them?
Girl, she a hoe. She a hoe. Internet. A hoe. Internet. She took over the internet, B. She took over the internet.
That's all everybody was talking about. But like,
I was like, okay, baby, Gypsy Rose. So you got your A out of jail and took over the internet, taking over the world. Girl, bitch. my God, that right there, I was like, ooh. Okay. Okay, and one thing I caught was what the grandpa that what S offended her. S
They didn't say that she did it. Like said she was.
a 4-year-old, y'all. A 4-year-old do not know nothing about touching other people in the wrong goddamn spot.
Now, a 4-year-old, they might come up to you like play for. They be like wanting to play. They might accidentally touch you right there, but they ain't meaning it like in that type of way.
She couldn't walk. That's what I said. She couldn't walk. So how she gonna touch you out there? Listen. She can't. She did walk, but she was around her mama and her people, and then she act like she couldn't walk, but she can walk because they said when she was on the trampoline, and then she was playing with other kids. Then when her mama came, and then she fell to the ground, act like she couldn't walk. So don't you think that the people that was at that party or whatever that was at, trampoline place, wherever that was at, don't you think they should have like reported that or did videos or pictures of that?
Or at least talk about it as a community, and then like went to the mom like, oh yeah, she can walk. Went to like her family members and said she can walk. We seen her do this and that. She was playing on a trampoline, but I don't know.
Something is not clicking right.
But then she did say that her mama like told her lies. So what if they're not telling her everything? What if they're only telling what they want people to know?
For what I understand, that she telling all the business now. That's how they getting all the tea. Cause she telling all the business now. And then she went on that podcast thing. She did say that she had something to do with it, but the boyfriend the one did the killing, did unalive him.
Yeah, cause she called him over there, and then they had made plans, and then after he unalived her mama,
they made plans on the phone call. He couldn't come over there, so they did. So they did it on the phone.
And then when he got there, she went in the bathroom. She said that he locked her in the bathroom. But then another one said that she went in the bathroom on her own. I don't know. But she was in the bathroom. He unlocked the mama. And then she said they went in her room, moved all the stuffed animals off the bed, and he raped her. And then there was another documentary where they said that was in a movie theater.
They didn't say rape. You gotta say it's a...
Oh, well, Elsa filmed.
Elsa, we ain't got to that part yet. We got to move on and then get to that.
Oh.
Elsa.
Well, I had watched this with somebody else already, so then like.
Let's take a thumbnail.
Okay.
We gotta be surprised. We gotta say. Listen. I don't like when they're playing on the age monkey. Let me
I
stop.
like an alien.
Yeah, we're gonna do that one. Let me stop. That how Swoop says my child. Yeah. Woo! Let me stop. If y'all want to watch the little Swoop video, I'll put it up right. I'll put the little thing up right there so y'all can go watch it too. And then tomorrow, we're going to start on part 2 of this video. I don't want to make it too long. So, y'all, go ahead and hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, follow my social media down below, use my discount codes down below, and go follow Elston.
Oh. Okay, y'all. I'm gonna get it straight. I'm gonna get it. Y'all gotta be a little patient. I'm a little broke right now.
Go follow Esther on her YouTubes, on her TikToks, or whatever. What's your TikToks?
Blue dot diamond 2.
What's your YouTubes?
Cassie.
Okay, y'all. Y'all see the little diamond up there when y'all go do the YouTubes. So, anyways, y'all. I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.
Bye.
Love you. Bye.